Hello everyone, this is Peak Entertainment and we are back again, and as promised now, this will be a quick review and roundup of the 3 recent trailers that were released for the Disney Investors Day of the up and coming Marvel Cinematic Universe superhero shows Falcon Winter Soldier, Loki and Wandavision. Now, this footage was released as additional promotion for all of the Marvel cinematic shows, and I've covered all of those in a recent video which I'll provide a link for in the description below. But as I promised in that video, this will be a quick roundup of the 3 release trailers which I've decided to do in a separate video. Now overall they're all very quick brief trailers, around 1 minute and 20 seconds long I believe, all 3 of them, and after watching all 3 I think the one for Loki impressed me the most. As I mentioned previously, I was surprised that we actually got footage for Loki because we knew that WandaVision was coming in January, and we knew also that Falcon and Winter Soldier had recently finished filming, but we had no recent news of Loki, so it was very surprising to get a trailer for that show. But that was the one that left the biggest impression for me, so we'll start with that show. And overall the tone is looking for, I think, a very much for fun, very escapist, balmy, bonkers kind of adventure. It very much gives that feel that we're going to be getting Loki going all over different time zones and different realms, seemingly working for, I think it's the TWA, which may be some sort of time traveling bureau or bureaucracy or government type, and we'll see further mishaps and adventures that Loki will have throughout this story. Now, as we all know, if you haven't watched Endgame, then spoiler warning now. The situation with Loki there was that he managed to escape the capture of the Avengers when they went back in time during the invasion of the Chitauri, and he managed to escape using the Tesseract powers, I believe, and the Loki show will follow on from where he escaped and where we will find him up to. Now, as I said, it was very brief. I did like the music. It's got very much of that dark comedic tone about it, and Tom Hiddleston continues to be very much in his element here. As we all know, he seems to be the most popular MCU villain. He's got a very charisma and personality about him. A lot of people feel that Loki was very much the best element within the Thor franchise as well, and Tom Hiddleston really has made his mark within his character, and here it just seems like, yes, he's just going to cut loose and have a lot of fun within the role, as we see Loki, as I mentioned, travelling through very time realms and time zones. There wasn't really anything too much specific in terms of the plot or if there will be any antagonists for Loki to face against. It's very surprising we see Owen Wilson in make an appearance, and he seems to be one of the members or the higher members of this TWA, I believe, this group or agency that we see. We see Loki in the office when he's captured, looking at various parts of history, and we see previous footage of the Avengers, of course. And I think the most revelation part of this trailer was that we saw, it seems like Black Widow, very much so. Again, if you remember Endgame, Black Widow and Hawkeye travelled forward to get the Soul Stone, and as a result you've got to give up a life of someone to apprehend the Soul Stone. So Black Widow gave up her life in order for Hawkeye to attain the stone. So very interesting to see what is Black Widow's appearance. What will it be in some sort of capacity? Will it be a quick just one night flashback, or will this be Marvel's way of reinvigorating and resuscitating the character following her death? How will this tie into the Black Widow movie as well? So that's probably what the most very interesting element of this trailer. But yep, just seems very fun, very crazy. It's got that very much of a Doctor Who feel about it, but overall I was very pleased and interested within this trailer. And as long as Tom Hiddleston is allowed to cut loose and retain that charisma that a lot of people like about the character, then I think this will be a very successful and entertaining watch. We go on next to the Falcon and Winter Soldier, and this continues, of course, the adventures of Sam Wilson as Falcon and Bucky Barnes, of course, and Winter Soldier. Again, following on from Endgame, if you know, we had an aging Steve Rogers passing over the shield to Falcon. Now, one thing surprising that we don't really see Falcon use the shield a lot. He makes that legacy shield reference at the beginning of the trailer, but apart from that, it's still very much Falcon. And I wonder if that will be the key throughout this series, is that will actually Bucky eventually wield the shield. There have been previous trailers where we've seen Falcon throw the shield into a tree, and maybe that's early practice of how to handle it, but this trailer alone shows Falcon very much in his typical form. We see Bucky and Falcon seemingly on some sort of investigation together and driving around together, and the key to this is going to be the banter and the chemistry between Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan. And I have to admit that this trailer didn't do a lot to showcase that banter and chemistry. If we are going to sustain our interest through the series, it has to be that relationship between the two. And there are a few insults here, and it's clear that Anthony Mackie as Falcon is going to be the much more hip, loose and wisecracking personality, and Sebastian Stan's Winter Soldier is going to be the much more of the serious, brooding type. But there has to be more. What I saw from this trailer, there has to be a lot more spark and liveliness between the two if it's going to sustain my interest throughout this show. One thing we can't deny is that the action is of a real high octane level. This is cinematic stuff here, you know, continuing that vein and tone what we saw from the Winter Soldier and Civil War movies, and every bit was indicated in the Black Widow trailer as well. Falcon and Winter Soldier is definitely going to continue in that same action directive, and we had that epic sequence where we saw Falcon flying through the canyons as the missiles were shooting at him. That was real cinematic level stuff. So as with all these shows, we all know there's going to be a huge budget put behind these shows, very much feeling as if they're more cinematic movies rather than television shows. So we'll wait and see with more details. We of course know that Daniel Bruhl will be returning as Baron Zemo, so he will more than likely be the antagonist for this series. So there wasn't really too much more in terms of elements that were introduced through this show, but like I said, it needs to do more to convince me of the relationship between Falcon and Winter Soldier themselves, because that will be the foundation as to whether this show will be a success. The action sequences no doubt will be very exciting to watch, but as long as it can retain enough personality and enough charisma between the two leads, then Falcon and Winter Soldier would be a successful show to watch out for as well. We then finally go on to WandaVision, and to be honest, again, this trailer didn't give a few more details. It was very much more Wanda-centric. I did probably prefer the first trailer. I just felt that was a much more cohesive feel to it. Here we got a lot more of a distorted images coming in and out of different realities. We have a lot more of the sitcom scenes as what's hinted within this show. It's more about Wanda trying to cope with all of these different realities crashing around her, disorientating around her. So a lot of people have hinted as the show, maybe the whole narrative will be that this is all happening in Wanda's head. She's dreaming it or imagining it, and she has to basically snap herself out of what's going on, and we'll just have larger ramifications going on within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. If you go on within the recent news and speculation, it was also confirmed by Kevin Feige that WandaVision, along with Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness and the upcoming Spider-Man 3 movie, will all have significant ties to the proposed multiverse. So that'll be key to this show as well. So we will really see the first origins and seeds within WandaVision, and that really kind of was visualized within this show. So not too much more to draw from this trailer either. One key scene was we did see the Mind Stone, I believe, if you remember, that was initially implanted in Vision going way back in Avengers Age of Ultron, and then we saw in Avengers Infinity War Wanda ripping that stone out of Vision in order to kill him before Thanos eventually apprehending it. So it will be interesting to see how that stone has come into play here. Will parts of WandaVision take place before Infinity War and some take place afterwards? So we did see again Monica Rambeau making her further appearance on here, and we know she'll play further key parts in the Miss Marvel show and also the Captain Marvel sequel as well. So everything will tie in together, I'm sure, but I think the most significant part of this show is that it will sow the seeds for the multiverse, and that will have huge ramifications going on for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So I was probably least impressed by this trailer because it didn't really delve much more into the story itself. It just gave us these kind of vague images, not really much to go on, but a lot of people are still very interested in WandaVision because it's really got this kind of crazy surreal take on it. So hopefully it's a good show, and it will be a barometer really of where these shows are going at, as it will be the first one to be released on Disney Plus next year. So overall, those are my quick round 5 thoughts on the 3 trailers of the Marvel superhero shows Falcon, Winter Soldier, WandaVision and Loki. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Which trailer impressed you the most? Which show are you looking forward most in the future? Let me know in the comments below. I will provide more coverage on these shows if we get further trailers and news as well. Also, on all the other upcoming Marvel shows, we had a couple of new ones that probably will happen way down in the future, the likes of Ironheart and Armor Wars and Secret Invasion as well. When we continue to get more footage and updates, I will provide you with those. Also, please hit those like and subscribe buttons and help me to provide you with new and quality content in the upcoming future. But that's it for now. Take care of yourselves, stay at safe distances, and I will see you very, very soon.